What is up, YouTube? What is up, Cryptonairz? And I say that with the nairs on the end of it because you guys are working on creating
Up
this generational
Cryptonairz.
wealth. And I got a little bit of feedback, but that's all right. We're going to get it together. We have a very special guest here on the Around the Clock Cryptonairz Ladies of Crypto show that I am so proud to present. We are going to start having a artist spotlight, which we're going to try to do. I haven't told Allie any of this, but I'm telling you guys. And good evening to you, Florida girl. How you doing, sweetie? We are going to start having an artist spotlight because artists are so key. Obviously, they're the ones that created the NFT space. So we have to talk about them as a very integral part of the crypto sphere and everything that's in it. So I'm very proud. You know, you guys were here when we did a Human 001. And now you're here for the second artist that we have had here. And his name is Channing Smithson. He is from Vessel Art as a Doorway, as you can see there right behind him. And we are so proud and pleased to have him. He has been a follower of this show and a supporter of this show. And those of you from the chat know him from the chat and for all the alpha that he drops and all the news that he brings. And he's such a great contributor to our space that we absolutely had to have him on, family. So we're going to take a quick look at the markets because we do that. You know, that's what we do. And we are going to discuss a certain article, just one, and then we're going to kind of segue into our artist spotlight with Channing tonight. And Channing, of course, you're the host with me. So you may, jump in, chime in, anytime that you are ready to do so. But we're going to share the screen. And hello to the chat, Ricky Bobby and Leah Smithson. Hi, I know you must be related.
How about that? Well,
So happy to
Corey,
have you. Mm-hmm.
I just want to say it's an honor to be on your
Oh,
show. I think, I told you ahead of time, I think that you're making history.
oh.
And, this show is definitely going to be remembered, and played back. A lot of people are going to use it as
I
education, so your
appreciate
education
that.
is
That's
paid.
definitely our goal. That's definitely our goal here. Hey, Travo, you guys are awesome. Cecil, what's up? Let's go ahead and look at these markets, y'all. I'm getting excited. Thank you so much for those kind words, Channing. Bitcoin still over 60,000, but just hanging on. 61,559 down 2.2% for the 7 days. Ethereum, of course, still in the number two spot at 45.49. 6.1% increase for the 7 days. Solana steadily increasing, you guys, at 248 today, up 27.6% for the 7 days. Cardano in the number six spot, under $2 today at 199, just a bit down at a minus 0.1%. Polkadot, 54 bucks. XRP, XRP Army, it is at $1.20 today and at 13.4% increase for the 7 days. Dogecoin at number 9. Shiba Inu has slipped to the number 11 spot, still no longer in the number or, the top 10. There's hope, hopefully, for the Shiba Inu army. We will see that wallet movement did not do well for the price of the coin here, but down 27.5% for the 7 days. And of course, like we always do, shout out to the Strong Block crew. We're going to check the price of Strong, who's also had, a pretty hefty correction,
Yeah.
but it is at $824.58, down 10.6% today. You guys know that Strong, this is the news we got from Channing on Bitrue, reached over $1,300 at one point last week. So yeah, she's having a really healthy correction, but definitely still looking pretty healthy at $824, especially if you have a node.
Yeah.
So I ain't mad at it.
Strong, see the issue with strong for note holders is that people don't realize that the parabolic effect that can happen with strong. When the price drops, what do? You buy more. You
Hello.
just keep buying more. You stack. You get your bags right. So if you have two nodes, great. If you have 20 nodes, even
Even
better.
better.
Compounding effect is amazing. And, I don't know if you don't mind me saying something about the strong notes.
Of course not.
If you were to take out a loan, okay, now this is not financial advice. If you were to take out a loan out from your bank for $100,000, you would have over 10 strong nodes. If you compound those strong nodes by January, you will be earning close to 80 to $120,000 every month. So if you think about bullish,
Right, right, right.
I don't know what to tell you. You can pay off the loan within 3 months. Now, you know, people aren't really seeing the significance of this stuff, Corey. What do you think?
I think I agree with you. I think we're so early in that people are there's so many people just kind of dipping their little toe in the water, and then there's people because the mentality that we have had, especially a lot of people that get into crypto haven't had a lot of money. They're not people that come from a background for the most part
Hmm.
of dealing with wealth and dealing with just the way that money works.
Hmm.
So for a lot of people who get into this and they hear the stories and they see the wealth creation that happens, it's almost unbelievable for a lot of them. And so
Hmm.
that's why you'll constantly hear, well, this it's too good to be true kind of situation, but it really is just a repeat of things that happen in history. Like when the internet was first created, like when going back to Kitty Hawk, when when man first learned to fly.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
right.
always these pivotal moments in history,
Hmm.
and there are people who can take advantage of or see the opportunity and jump in and seize the day. So this is another one of those moments if you recognize
Hmm.
it for what it is. So I agree with you. I feel like yes, there are a lot of people that don't get it. And that was a very good pun. Cecil said that sounds pretty strong.
And I mean, this is possible. It- you know, last week I was trying to create a new node using Ethereum. And so just listen to how stupid this is. Okay. All right. I needed 100 Ethereum,
Mm,
$100 in Ethereum to create a new node. So what I did was I took out some of my strong from KuCoin and I cashed out $100 on MetaMask to create additional Ethereum.
mhm,
MetaMask took $100 of my strong away, and
mhm,
they also took $100 of my Ethereum away.
mhm.
So I lost $200.
Yes.
you know, uh, there's a lot of foolishness going on with Ethereum, but we're seeing how basically now, if I would have taken that back into a KuCoin or an Uphold, and cashed that coin out into Ethereum, sent that back over to MetaMask, it would have been a lot easier. But I learned my lesson there.
Yeah.
But really, when it comes to the strong node, I mean, it's amazing, and like you said, I really feel like this is one of the first opportunities. I remember I was watching your show when you were talking with Ali, and she said she couldn't believe that her dreams were coming true. And
Yes.
I think all of us really need to just jump into the Cryptonairz, Discord, and find out from some of these guys how they're doing it. They'll educate you, they'll walk you step by step how to do it.
Yes, they are crushing it. And as Channing has said, use our code. We have one for you, a NAIR25. That's the code for this month. 25% off of any level subscription that you so choose. And as Channing can witness and many others in this chat, well worth the price of admission. The rewards will far outweigh anything you pay for the subscription. Trust and believe. And as we always say, it's not just about our group. We have a lot of great people on this show. Go back and watch some of the past episodes. If you don't like that community, or our community in particular isn't for you, there's so many others, but just find your tribe is so, so important. I cannot stress that enough. As we are traveling together on this journey, we need each
Mhm.
other. We need to help assist and support each other on the way up. But yes, you are right. Let's the strong narrative is just one of very many. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but I want to talk about this one article that I saw because I think that it kind of will weigh into our conversation as we move forward with this interview. And I know that, many of us have found crypto and we've gotten a little excited, or maybe more than a little, about the space and the possibilities in it. But crypto addiction, and this author says that it could be possibly a hidden epidemic. So this author basically kind of details the story of two particular men. One of them who got into crypto during the pandemic became, a little bit more than obsessed with his crypto, and it started to impact his relationships. And apparently, the way that he was doing crypto, according to this article, he was losing a lot more than he was winning, which kind of says to me that he might have been on his own and he didn't have a lot of support. And obviously, anyone can have an addictive personality and can get addicted to anything. It could be food, it could be gambling in the more traditional sense. So it doesn't necessarily have to be crypto. To me, there's another deficit going on, and you try to fill that space with something else. And definitely not taking away or negating any mental health issues that anyone might have had um, during this pandemic. But I definitely recommend again to people that you don't try to, do this without having a trusted friend or veteran or somebody in the space that you can, talk with um, and lean on. And obviously, not to put in more than you can afford to lose, because that just leads down the path of destruction.
Yeah.
And we did another article here, some weeks ago about a crypto castle, a crypto addiction castle in Scotland where people could go, if they had a problem with crypto. So this is just, I guess another way that people who have addictive personalities can get caught up. And if you are
Right.
having any of that, if you haven't any of that, there's lots of numbers to call. And I would advise, people to do that. I have been in spaces, Channing, where people who have lost, I was actually in the Strong Telegram room one time. And this is when you may remember when David Moss was considering doing the halvening and the famous Cowabunga video. And there was a certain person in space that literally said, I put everything I had, I paid my rent money, I did this, I did that, and now I'm contemplating suicide
Oh
if
wow.
David does this happening. Of course, he ended up not doing it, and I often wonder what happened to that person who threatened um, to take their life. And of course, he was being um, dragged in the telegram room, but it's never a good idea. I don't care what the narrative is, even for something as great as Strong is and has turned out to be, to put in your rent money or things that that you need
Right.
to keep a roof over your head, food in your mouth, pay for children's,
Right.
anything. But I did want to just kind of say, that's definitely a cautionary tale as you travel down this path. If you feel that you're becoming obsessed or this is a little bit too much, then you need to make some changes.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess
So,
what you're saying, my interpretation of what you're saying is invest wisely and don't
yes,
hurt yourself. Pay your bills.
pay your
Right.
bills. You got it, bruh.
Yeah.
But speaking of paying bills, I know you talk we have personally talked about your crypto story, but I just kind of want you to share because I love hearing how people found this space because we're still so early and still probably 90.9% of the world just doesn't even know about crypto or may have heard about Bitcoin and that's all they know. And how did you
Mhm.
find this space and what's your crypto story?
Yeah, thank you. I guess my crypto story probably began about 8 years ago when my brother, he shot me a text message and was like, "Hey, man, maybe you need to look into this Bitcoin." And I remember talking to my wife about it. I was like, "This junk is stupid. Like, why would you even do it?" At that time, it was dollars,
Ooh.
dollars to pennies, and I didn't take it seriously. However, when we moved here in the Arts District in Atlanta. I come from a medical background, and I work with doctors in the cath lab, where we do procedures where we basically treat people who have heart attacks or strokes and things like that, and we kind of revive them, using a technique that basically allows us to open up the passageways in their vessels all throughout the body.
Hmm.
So while I was working with these doctors, I'm scrubbed in with them, and they would talk about Bitcoin and how they were mining Bitcoin. And I would always ask them, like, "Hey, man, how can I get in?" And they were telling me, "Don't worry about it."
Mm.
So when you tell me, "Don't worry about it," I'm gonna start worrying about it, right? So at that point, I was like, "Okay, this is something that I probably need to get into. I need to find out more about." And nobody would get me into the buddy circle. Nobody would include me until I was working at one hospital and I met a good friend. Even to this day, we still chat. His name was Israel, and the guy was coming in every day talking about XRP and Bitcoin, and I was like, "Shut up!" It was getting to the point, like that article that you shared. I
Mhm.
was thinking that maybe Israel had something wrong with him.
Mhm.
Obviously, I was wrong because he was right. He was like, "This is going to be, you know, a world coin. It's going to be used across the world, and the coin is going to go from 10 cent to you know who." So I said, "All right, okay, Israel, let me just go in and buy a little bit." So I was shaking, my hand, and I bought some. Saw the price go from 7 cent or 10 cent to 23 cent, and my profits, were
Mhm.
looking really good. And talking to Israel, and I was in the community listening to DAI, listening to others talking about how XRP was the future coin. It was the next Bitcoin. I
Mhm.
became an XRP maxi, and that was all I was thinking about was XRP, XLM, and that fat in that circle, and I lost a lot of money thinking like that. And
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with XRP, and I still hold XRP. I still buy XRP, but I'm gonna tell you, Corey, I don't like seeing Solana do what it's doing, and I did not buy a bag, a
Hello.
nice size bag. And I saw Strong when I first saw Strong, it was $7 to $10, and I did not act, and we're looking at an $800-900 coin, and
Mhm.
that's ridiculous.
Hello, bruh.
S-
Yeah.
just like we said earlier, sometimes you need to run with the winners. You need to run with the winners, and then get your legs with you, right? Get your legs with you.
100%. Yes.
You, you know what
And
I'm
we
saying?
talk about a lot. We talk about tribe here. Tribe is good. Tribalism is not.
Right.
You need to know the difference between the two, especially when it comes to the cryptocurrency space.
Agreed. 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 And if you're looking, and it really just depends, I think, in this crypto space, what you want to do. I think when I first got into it, I would poot around every week and just buy like $100 of XRP. That was good because I got some nice bags when XRP dropped down to 10 cent. And I can do a lot with it within the Flare networks in a little bit. And I'm really excited about that. But seeing Ethereum, when I was looking at Ethereum, it was $60,
Yeah, bruh. I hear you.
Corey.
Mhm.
$6, Corey. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What was I thinking about? Ethereum has done its thing, and I don't think it's going back to $60. You know, it possibly could, but maybe it could do a Netscape thing. I don't know, but I'm looking at a $4,500 Ethereum. And
Yes.
so, what we're seeing is that we need to work, within the rails. Obviously, Brad is talking about 11 level playing field,
Mhm.
but we need to run with the winners sometimes. And I'm saying that, if we really want to retire, if we really want to create wealth for our families, we need to start thinking about these assets the same way that these developers do. These developers aren't pooting around with these coins. They're taking aggressive action. They see Garo Dow, they see
Mhm.
Time, Wonderland.
Mhm.
They invest seriously. They don't fool around. And I hope you don't mind me saying
Mhm.
some of these coins. And I'm gonna stop my rant. I'm sorry.
No,
This is
go
your
for it.
show. Look at some of these things like Ohm or Time. If you invested $1,100 into some of these things within 1 year, that $1,100 could turn into $880,000. Would that change your life? So what I'm saying is like, we don't need to be thinking about these things from a maxi perspective, dogging out SHIB. SHIB is a dynamic, guys, really. SHIB is like a number nine, number 10 coin. It's within the first 20, and it's going to Flare Finance. And we're going to be doing DeFi or SHIB. We're going to be earning buku money on SHIB. Like we just need to reassess our thinking, change it. It's like a Rubik's cube. We need to, just get out of that
Little
thinking.
tweaking.
Yeah, just a little tweaking. Yeah,
I totally agree. And shout out to iBig Dallas and Helen Hall. And thank you guys so much for being here, late or no. We appreciate you being here. Channing, you talked about in the beginning of your crypto journey, hearing about it from, certain sources who weren't willing to, let you join the club, so to speak, or give you the information. Have you experienced and other barriers, and what do you think that was about? Did it have to do with you, being a black man, or was it just simple, you're not a doctor, so you don't get in? What barriers, if any, have you experienced other than, your initial brush with that kind of thing in the beginning?
it very well could have been some of that. It very well could have been some of that. Or I'm a contract employee, so I'm not. Here in Los Angeles, since I've been working, I don't work for a specific hospital. I'm my own. I contract myself out like nurses,
Mhm.
doctors, and different things like that. So that being the case, sometimes you don't always get into the inner circle.
Right.
They don't think that you're one of them,
Right.
and sometimes information does not get shared with you. And very well, it could be that, I'm a man of color. Possibly, maybe some people didn't agree with having people that look like me get certain knowledge, and that's okay because, what we're seeing is in this crypto field, this is flipping the script. This is allowing kids in India who are bagging rice, right?
Mhm.
I'm talking about kids in Africa picking vegetables on a farm. These guys earn like pennies to a dollar. They can get
Yes.
into this space now, right? So this is like you said, this is what we're seeing. This is a new asset. And that's the thing I try to drill when I talk to people. This is a new asset. This
Mhm.
isn't this isn't monopoly money. You know what I mean? We're not going out and we're not, trick or treating or doing
None of
anything
that.
stupid. This is institutional money. We're talking about from last year we were at 300 billion market cap. And today we're close to 3 trillion. Like we got to start changing our thinking, readjust. Where do we want to be within months, within a year? Like start thinking about the space that you're in, thinking about these crypto assets as being like one of the first assets that we've actually had the ability within 100 years, right? Hundreds of years, like the
Yes.
stock market. This is
Yes.
crypto. you know?
And that's the beauty and the miracle of it. And I'm always preaching. I probably sound like a freaking, missionary slash disciple oracle, but I'm going to keep saying it because the opportunity and the potential that is present here, we haven't seen this. And you're right about that. We got to get our minds right, because if you do not, you're gonna miss the boat. And I'm like you. I don't want to be looking back, because opportunity still exists. We might have missed that $60 Ethereum. That boat might have sailed. But
Right.
there's so many leaving
Yeah.
from the dock almost daily. If you pay attention and you do your own research, and you get a great tribe, and you listen to people
Mhm.
like yourself, you still have a real good chance, like you said, of creating that kind of generational wealth, that we all dream of, and literally experiencing the things that you've heard Allie and me say all the time, especially when it comes to like strong and passive income. You couldn't have told
Mhm.
me when I got in this, little over a year ago, that I would be making money while I slept. I always dreamed about that, but I ended up, like most of us, trading time for money, hoping, that eventually, I would get there, I'd get to live the American dream, or, I could do something in the stock market, and, I might get that one good stock tip.
Mhm.
But,
Mhm.
the chances for that, just seem so far fetched and far away. And, now this. So this is the opportunity. It truly is. And, your message there about how we have to start thinking differently, and we can't, in the world we live in, I think people are so quick to say scam and Ponzi
Mhm.
scheme and whatever else, without even looking at it, without even doing the research,
Yeah.
or even trying to, educate themselves so that they can understand.
Exactly. And you know what I like to say one thing, if you don't mind.
Of
One
course.
thing in the crypto space I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen it too, Corey, is that people, they tend to listen to loud voices. The louder the voice sometimes, or the bigger the voice, they feel like it's more respectable.
Yes.
And that's one thing I really appreciate about Cryptonairz, your show. You and Ali, you guys are dropping bombs every day. And we're looking at the space right now. What we have, what, 10 people in the chat?
Mhm. Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
these are bombs that we're dropping. That you're dropping here in the space. And if people listen, if you don't just look at numbers, don't just look at audiences, from a materialistic perspective. Like, think about what is in that content. What is the content that they're bringing? Is it real? Is it bringing you money, or is it just stories? I see some of these YouTubers. They're just coming out with material, and they basically listen to another person that just came out with it. I'm like, what did I learn
Mhm.
from that?
Right.
Did I
Right.
learn anything? Seriously, you know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
you know, it's some really good content here on this show. Listen to these ladies. They're bringing some heat.
Oh, thank you so much. That's truly our goal, is to educate and to benefit people who listen. And yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you being here, which kind of segues into my next conversation, the NFT space, which is so closely related, to crypto and cryptocurrency, and how, as a medical professional, um, did you evolve as an artist? Was that there prior to being in, that's just your 9 to 5, but the art has always been your passion. So tell us about Vessel and art as a doorway.
Oh, that's sweet of you. So the whole thing with Vessel comes from the procedures, the medical procedures that we do at the hospital. We have to get access to a vessel. And we do that using a technique where we use a needle and a thread, and we can basically go anywhere from in between your brain, inside of your brain to, your heart or even your foot, if we need to. But it's also an extension of the vessels that I create. Like you see these guys up right here, these
Mhm.
guys, these vessels that we create as well. It can be, you know, art is so dynamic. We're seeing in the NFT space how billions, if not soon trillions, of dollars is being floored into the space. And it's really difficult for people to conceptualize, and I'm not just using big words, and I'm not going to throw you any fluff, but it's hard for people to understand the dynamic of how art can transform not only a space, but it can transform an environment, a community. So
Mm.
we're using vessel art as a doorway to kind of open up those things in our podcast. We talk to TED speakers, we talk to artists, curators, musicians, people who understand art and understand the dynamic, the impact that it can have on a person, even in the healthcare field. We talk about that. But the way I got into art, obviously, my wife is a full-time artist. She's a muralist, sculptor, and we're really big into art. We're a bunch of art buffs. We always go to museums, and that's always been one of our things, our passion. She earns a living from doing art. Actually, she just finished a mural with Apple, a collaboration with Apple in downtown Los Angeles. And she has a huge mural on one of their buildings that they just renovated at the tower. Was it? Is it tower? It's the tower building
Mhm.
for Apple. So, yeah, yeah. But just watching her do art, and I've always supported her all throughout the year. I've always been really passionate about her art, and I would help her. She has a brand of art that is actually in jewelry. So she
Mhm.
actually sculpts these little sculptures, and she creates like necklaces and different heirlooms that people have, and it's in a couple of stores. It's actually also in a couple of stores here in Los Angeles and at the Museum of Austin, the Austin Museum of Art. And a few other, sprinkled around a couple others, and she's been featured in Atlanta Magazine, a lot of different magazines, and I've helped her out, with some of
Mhm.
these things. And one day she was just like, go ahead and just do it, And, I was watching guys, I don't know if you know, like there's an artist, a ceramist, real famous African American ceramist. His name is Tortoise, Eric Landon. And I would watch him, and I'd watch my wife, and we met up with some owners of a ceramic business, and she was like, you need to go take a class. And I was like, okay. And after 4 months of it, I really got hooked, and people were asking to buy my work. And you really feel humbled when that happens, because you create something with your hands, and now somebody wants to take that home and show it to their family. And so, I'm very fortunate. Some of the work is in a few stores here in Los Angeles now, and we're looking to kind of make a move, and you know the stuff sells out. And I'm happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm using that to buy my crypto.
That's what
So,
I'm talking
you
about.
know,
That's what I'm talking about. Have Did you make those items behind you there?
no, I can't say my wife, she created this she created this for me. So, very
Gotcha.
fortunate to have a good woman behind me.
I'm telling you, I like you already talking like that. That's what I'm saying. Credit where credit is due. Um,
Yep.
you mentioned vessels, and we know that vessels in the body carry things to and fro. They
Mhm.
literally, help to carry the life force, the thing that keeps the organs and the skin and everything else alive. So I love that you've entitled um, your mission vessel art as a doorway. What do you think about the space in terms of what NFTs have done for creatives?
Man, NFTs, I personally feel that we haven't even touched the surface for NFTs. I think we're just focusing in on art. But now we're seeing how basically these NFTs are transforming into something really powerful. Obviously, we see in the strong community how we can use the strong NFT to create more strong nodes.
Mhm.
Now, that is bullish as I don't know what. Uh,
Hello, bro. Yep.
the inside Flare with the Songbird, when you actually dedicate I'm sorry, you delegate your votes to the Flare Time Series Oracle, and if you dedicate some of these votes to the best FTSO, you can earn, I believe, it's close to about 4 to 5 thousand Songbird worth, actually more than that. So that's roughly about maybe 22 to 2,500 dollars within the first
Mhm.
month by just
Wow.
holding some of these NFTs. So we're seeing the dynamics, and now people are actually using. They're potentially thinking about using these NFTs in what they call them, BRBs, or what they call it. Goodness,
Yeah,
when you stay in
Airbnbs
someone's
or
home, Airbnb.
mhm.
Thank you. Yeah. So imagine having an Airbnb. Someone buys the NFT from you. They get into the home, so they have access to the home. But now there's also the jacuzzi in the back, where there
Mhm.
may be a spa center also on the side. Well, different depending on the NFT that you select will allow you to gain access into different rooms or different other opportunities within the space. And now we're seeing football players issue out NFTs, and by you buying the NFT, it allows you to have a season pass,
Nice. Yeah.
and you get to hang out with the football player. You get to, maybe have some hot dogs and popcorn with the guy, sit
Mhm.
in box seats by just holding these NFTs. And people can buy it on the secondary market. So by you issuing out, maybe you're tired of the Philadelphia Eagles, and you want to send them out, you know. Someone on the secondary market, they can buy it from you, and the issuer of the NFT then gets a royalty from that. That's powerful, And there's all these airdrops, like you guys always talk about beautifully. The space with NFTs is going to be really powerful.
I totally agree with you. For many, many years, the rich have used art as a store of value. A lot of the times they took those, very expensive paintings and they were only, for their eyes only, or they were, in a vault somewhere, but that was where, their wealth was definitely stored there. So now for us to have this opportunity to do the same thing digitally is an amazing thing. And again, people just that's what I'm saying. When people are seeing NFTs just as JPEGs, they don't get it.
No, they don't get it. You're so right. And
Yeah.
now we're entering into the metaverse. And personally, the bullish stuff I'm hearing, Corey, about the meta, I think it's next level. You have real estate agents and brokers getting involved with the metaverse. That is
Yes.
bullish as I don't know what. So, just hold on tight. You buying land and me actually having an art gallery within the metaverse and me selling different bodies of work,
Yes.
that's powerful.
I'm saying this all of this right from the convenience of home in your pajamas as long as you have internet access.
Mhm.
I mean, it boggles the mind. You no longer, have to find a venue,
Yeah.
have to deal with inclement weather. As an
COVID.
artist or a graphic or a visual artist, you literally can set up your gallery, like you said, right inside of the metaverse. And so the applications for this for a creative are again, it just blows the mind. And you have a
Yeah.
question from our chat, so I definitely want to get Ron's question here. He's asking, "What do you think about Polkadot? Do you think it might be the next $50 ETH that most people missed who are just getting into crypto now?"
Yeah. Oh, best believe it. Best believe it. When Dr. Gavin Wood left the Ethereum Foundation, with David Hodgkinson. You know, those guys had a plan to get that whole idea of the Ethereum virtual machine like up and moving. And we see what the Kusama network is doing. What is Kusama up like? What, 450, 500? And
Mhm.
it's looking like the Songbird token.
Mhm.
More developers are actually willing to stay within the Kusama network. They don't even want to get into the Polkadot space. You know, they're
Right.
content with that. So am I bullish about Dot? Oh yes, yes sir, yes sir. Ron Wilson, Dot is going to explode.
You heard it, and again, it's today. I think we looked at the price was $54, and I keep saying, here I know it has yet to see its run. It's a good mid to long term hold, not financial advice, just what we're doing. But like if you missed that Ethereum boat, Ron's got a point, and Channing is definitely amen in the amen corner there. Yeah, retweet, retweet what you're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, this is not magic internet money. There is a science. This is technology. And DOT is definitely one of the tokens that have a great use case. Do you have any more favorites right now, Channing, that you may be looking at in terms of tokens?
Girl, I'm into a lot of different spaces. Right now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just honing in on the strong network, but
Yeah, yeah,
this DeFi space is out of control. And I mean, you know, we're looking at what was it the other day? It was 70,000% for one, 70,000 APR.
yeah, yeah,
You know, with time and ohm. So what we're talking about is putting money into a machine that is just spitting it back out at you, right? You know, now
yes, yes,
and
yes,
and and what and what we're talking about is that that potential passive income being created on a daily basis and us not having to cash it out. Us taking out loans instead. And that's a whole new thing too. I think we need to
oh
understand.
yeah,
A lot of people are just thinking, Corey. I'm sure you can probably agree. People are thinking that all they have to do is just, win moon for
yeah,
XRP. That's some lazy stuff.
it is.
What I'm talking about is allowing this cryptocurrency, these digital assets, so yeah, you can accrue a lot of them, but let these assets work for you. And
Yes.
instead of you cashing them out, Uncle Gary, right? Instead of you cashing them out, SEC, allow these coins to you issue out loans the same way you would a real estate, a home. You
Hmm.
would refinance that home, take out a loan on that home without capital gains, Uncle Gary. How does that work? You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
so Avalanche, I'm bullish on Avalanche. I'm
Mm.
bullish on Matic. No longer an XRP Maxi. Because these things, when we get into the space, especially Corey, when we start another thing, instead of all this Maxi stuff, we need to start thinking about money.
Mm.
We need to start thinking correctly, change the thinking, start thinking about money. What does Warren Buffett do? Warren Buffett has LLCs. Warren Buffett has S corps.
Yes.
So when I'm listening into these YouTubes, I'm like, you guys are over here worrying about John Deaton and this court case. Instead, you need to
Hmm.
start focusing in on wealth ability. And yo, I'm gonna shout out. We're an LLC. Vessel Art is a Doorway. CLSS is a
Yes.
LLC. Get your trust right. Get your S
Hmm.
corp right. Get your finances straight because when this bull market, and we've just seen the beginning of this bull market. When
Hmm.
the bull market takes off, get ready. Get ready to financially be able to take care of your family, in
Yes.
your future. So
Yes.
forgive me. Um, yeah,
Nothing
a
to
lot of projects,
forgive.
a lot of projects. Stay open in the space because the, when we're talking about interoperability,
Mm,
there's a podcaster. His name is Seth Godin. I would strongly
yes,
recommend
I
checking
know
him out.
Seth. Yeah,
You,
Be-
you know
yeah.
Akimbo.
Hmm.
He has a
Hmm.
he had. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Corey.
No, no, no.
Forgive me.
I'm just in the amen corner here. Go ahead, bro. I'm just agreeing.
He has a podcast called Akimbo. If you listen to that Akimbo very carefully, you'll see that Seth Godin is a strong XRP backer. When he talks about Brad Garlinghouse passionately,
Hmm.
this is Seth Godin. Seth Godin, you may not know Seth Godin. If you type in SETH, his name pops up. Okay. Seth is talking. He had on one of his podcasts. I highly recommend it if you get time. Obviously, not financial advice, but he talks about interoperability, and he talks about a phone jack, how a simple thing like a USB port can be plugged into different outlets. That is interoperability. You
Hmm.
can plug it into a phone. You can plug it into a charger. We need to start thinking about these digital assets as being interoperable, being used on cross chains, being used across different platforms. Ethereum now wrapping an XRP, like you said,
Hmm.
Corey, yesterday. You dropped that dime on us. We saw the price of XRP climb up a little bit, but we haven't even seen the beginning. So the interoperability is the thing that we need to focus in on, I think.
Which was a big thing with Polkadot. I mean,
Mhm,
that was their whole, um, the context of that, and the utility was built on interoperability because
mhm,
Ethereum just can't or hasn't been able to scale.
mhm,
And so there's so many things coming along. AVAX is another one, that has that as its, that heralds, interoperability as one of the things that it can do that are going to be faster and stronger. They're just the next generation of Bitcoin, the next generation of Ethereum, and looking at, like you said, who are going to be the winners in the space. Because
okay,
I'm telling you, like you said, the opportunity and the potential for creating this generational wealth is here, if you are aware and you take the time to do the research. That's all it takes. Even if
mhm,
it's 30 minutes a day. I mean, we'll waste time on Netflix. We'll binge watch hours of stuff that is
mhm.
going to do. Yeah, I enjoy Netflix as much as the next person. I just got through watching Warrior Nun, the
Yeah.
first season. It was awesome.
Mhm,
However, I'm going to make sure, my priorities are in order. I'm going to make sure that I educate myself, that I'm going to do something that is going to help secure my financial future, that I'm willing to spend at least as much time doing that as I am binge watching a series. And those people, as my mother used to say, they already done made their money. You know what I'm saying? They got their contract. They're good. So,
Yeah.
put as much time and energy and money into yourself and into your future
Mhm.
as you are willing to sit there and watch nonsense.
Yeah.
And if you do, and I've been a fan of his for a long time. He was a big in marketing, and that's, how he made his name, and marketing, guerrilla marketing, and that kind of thing. So, he
Mhm,
and Gary Vee are
mhm,
kind of cut from the same cloth. So they obviously, again, successful men, they know what they're talking about. And they always talk about the time invested, equals what you're going to get out. So you got to put
mhm,
that time
mhm,
in, you guys. Oh, I don't know anything about crypto. And yes, there's a lot. Yes, there is a
mhm.
lot, but start somewhere. you
Yeah.
know, get on the good foot and start, spending at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day, like Channing is doing while he's at work. listening to videos, educating yourself on the space and what's in it and what the opportunities are. And you will see that it will pay. It will pay in spades.
Mhm.
Um, Tell me too, because I know that you do a podcast. Where can we find your podcast? What do you guys do on the podcast? What happens
Yeah,
on the podcast?
yeah. You can find us at pretty much any podcast player, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify. The vessel, the podcast, as you see, vessel art is a doorway. But we don't just talk about just art, like literal paintings and pictures that you see, sculptures and things. But we hone in on how art is affecting the space. Like earlier this year, we got a chance to interview Jason Brink of
Mhm.
Go Gala Games,
Yes.
and in that interview, I learned a lot. I learned a lot off camera with Jason also about crypto. But yeah, seeing how he was involved with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and how he ended up doing like these humanitarian works, and then he
Mhm.
got into the crypto space and programming, and his love for gaming, was pretty interesting. That was pretty phenomenal, and we got a couple of interviews lined up. Um, uh, we just recently interviewed Tortoise, the actual African American artist that I was telling you about. Me and him, we became pretty good friends, afterwards. And I actually took a class by the man, and then afterwards we
Nice.
had a chance to interview him. So he's a really famous a ceramist, within the clay community. But yeah, once again, like I've been saying, is I think a lot of people, what they're doing, Corey, I think a lot of people are just focusing in on who is the loudest voice.
Mhm.
But like Corey, like you, we're gonna be running with the winners. You know what I mean? And one thing,
100%.
one thing I thought was really interesting. I had a chance to watch an interview, and one of the things why I'm so bullish on your particular show was how I think it was the CEO and a couple of other executives of Van Hill Capital. They had a conversation, and they were talking about people like Cryptonairz, people like Corey, people like Allison, who are in the space every day bringing material. And one of the bullish things I thought was interesting is they were talking about how they created one of their first NFTs as a um, not as an NFT, but as a goodness security. An NFT
Mm.
is a security, and they
Mhm.
mentioned how people like Corey and Allison, who are bringing the heat every day, how soon they'll be able to bring their podcasts and their shows into the NFT space as security.
Hmm.
So, what we're talking about, you know, don't just look at things from a materialistic perspective. You know, you know, these girls are bringing some heat every night, and I really appreciate it. And I just want to show you guys love, and thank you once again for having me on.
Oh, no, no way would I not have, because you're a part of a big contributing factor to the heat that we bring. The people in the chat and who do watch this space definitely appreciate you. And wow, I just wanted to share just because my vessels are open here, and your wife is that post about vessel art as a doorway is not only about art but also about the brain. So I just want to read to people what the definition of art is, just so you can expand your vision, and we can think about things in different ways. But the dictionary defines art as the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination. Typically, it's in a visual form, such as a painting, a sculptor producing works that are appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power, but typically does not mean always. So there's a lot of forms that art can take, and it doesn't have to be the typical way that we think about art. It's what people like
Mhm.
you and your beautiful wife do every day, and that's opening up the minds of people and getting them to think in a different way. And that in itself is an art form, and I'm so pleased and proud to have you here.
Nice,
And it won't be the
nice.
last
Appreciate
time
it.
that we do. But you guys look at our YouTube description box. Channing's website is there as well as his Twitter handle. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Make sure you go and check out the website and find that podcast and listen in. Um, Wisdom and understanding and knowledge, with all thy getting, as an old proverb says, we have to get
Mhm,
understanding. It's the principal thing, and there's a reason that that proverb exists, and there's truth there, and that is hidden if you are paying attention. And that is how we're going to navigate this space with understanding. It's the
mhm,
only way. It's the only way we're going to do it. And you talk about freedom, true freedom and prosperity is the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And this space definitely offers that. And I thank you so much for being a person in this space, helping others to freedom,
mhm,
to find their freedom. I love it. Absolutely. And you guys, we got 5 more minutes left. If you have any more questions for Channing, you can drop them in the chat. But
mhm.
bro, I just want to know. I know that you guys are developing an NFT project. Tell us a little bit about that, whatever you can share.
Okay, so Leah is a virtual reality and AR artist, augmented reality artist. Maybe what I'll do, I'm going to share something with you guys.
Sure.
Let me see here. She does some pretty cool stuff, and not just saying it because she's my wife. Let's see if I can pull it up. But imagine if you could, while I'm pulling this up.
Hmm. Uh-oh, he clicked off. I have done that before. He'll be back. All you have to do, guys, with this streaming service that we use is make one click wrong to the right, and then yes, you will click yourself off. But he'll be back. And there's Aaron, and I will definitely make sure that he gets that shout out. I'm gonna give him a minute here to find his way back. But in the meantime, make sure you guys go follow him on Twitter. Make sure you guys follow me and Allie on Twitter. Allie is temporarily um away from the show. She will be back on, I believe, tomorrow night, Friday night. She will have hopefully some nuggets and some real good alpha to share with us from being there at the art show in New York, where she is right now, the NFT conference space. But that is my Twitter there, Color Crypto, and hers at Allison Newell. Make sure you're following us. If you have not liked this video yet, if you are watching and you have not yet subscribed to the space, and thank you, Leah assures us that Channing is on his way back. Then make sure that you are doing that. We would love to have you share this show on your own social platforms. We want to build our engagement because we do. We have a lot to offer, and we're very passionate about what it is that we share, about getting more women in the space. All of those things, very, very important. So make sure, there you are.
Back into
Make sure
space.
that you like, share, and subscribe. And did you find what you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, maybe on a future, episode. If you don't mind, I'll
You'll
be able to share that. But however, I did want to say something, and forgive me, for being really cryptic when it comes to some of this information. The only reason why, Leah, she wanted me to not reveal too much is, what's going on with
Oh,
NFTs.
yeah, yeah.
But imagine if you could. Imagine for a second that you're in a museum and you see your favorite portrait painting, whether it's like a Van Gogh or, a Dali or whatever, and imagine stepping inside of it.
Nice.
That's going to be the NFT. So it's going to be
Mhm.
something unique. So that's one of the things that she wanted me to base. And it's I'll just say this for her. And she probably doesn't want me to say this. She likes the number nine, and she enjoys doing murals. So,
Wonderful.
this is going to be something that we're all going to be able to participate in, and we're also going to be able to visualize these things in real life.
I love it.
So
Love it.
yeah,
But you definitely come back when Leah and you and hopefully Leah can be on with us.
that would be
You know,
cool, huh?
whenever she's ready, or just to talk. It doesn't even have to be about her project that's in development. It could be about many other things. But we'd love to have more ladies on the show. Shout out to Leah. You're welcome anytime. Channing, as are you. And I want to thank you for being with us tonight. And Aaron Cargill, I just wanted to make sure you got the shout out from him.
Oh,
while you
cool,
were
cool, cool.
while you briefly went away, he said shout out. So you guys, I know that we're gonna see you again tomorrow night. Hopefully Allie will be back here with us for another episode of Around the Clock. In the meantime, have a real good evening. Kiss the people that you love and tell them that you love them. Get them onboarded into this crypto sphere wherever you can. Make sure that you're spreading the word. Don't be aggravating, but be passionate
Yeah.
about it, because yes, this really is the opportunity of a lifetime, or of our lifetimes. Channing, any parting words?
No, just in this space, I'm humbled to be on the show. First of all, thank you, for having us. But I just recommend seriously, like Corey said, do your due diligence. If I can get my words right, do the work. Don't be lazy. And I don't want to offend anybody, in any way. I'm not saying that anyone's lazy, but do the legwork. When it comes to these programs, think about these investments, these assets as being real money, that can actually provide for our families. Think seriously about these projects. And when opportunities come, like when you hear about a strong, or you hear about apply, or you hear about, SRX node, or a pack master node, think about these things, these pack master nodes getting 8,300 coins a month. And if they turn to $2, that's $16,000 a month. Like, seriously, think about these, these potential node things as being real, and don't put around. If you plan on investing in something like what Corey mentioned, or Allison, what they're talking about, don't fool around. Seize the opportunity and enjoy the rewards, and do it responsibly. Get your S corps, get your LLCs, get your stuff together.
You
That's my
guys,
rant.
yeah, we will be having, that's a great rant. And we'll have more information about the LLCs and all of that stuff. Watch this channel is coming very, very soon. So that we're all prepared to handle the wealth coming our way. In the meantime, in between time, we'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for another episode of Around the Clock. Have a great night, everyone.
See you guys.